Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paribrajakacharya Astotra Shata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Good morning. Welcome to Srimad Bhagavatam class. Reading from the 10th canto, 76th chapter, verses 6 and 7. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamasloka Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Om Ajnanatimarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Angulangayate Girimyat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Isharam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Romapada Swami Iti Namine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasyata Deshatarine. Please repeat. Devasura Manusyanam Gandharvo Ragarakshasam Abhideyam Kama Gambhavre Sayanam Vrishnibhishanam Devasura Manusyanam Gandharvo Ragarakshasam Abhideyam Kama Gambhavre Sayanam Vrishnibhishanam Devasura Manusyanam Gandharvo Ragarakshasam Abhideyam Kama Gambhavre Sayanam Vrishnibhishanam. Please chant. Devasura Deva by demigods, Asura demons, Manushanam and humans, Gandharva by Gandharvas, Uraga celestial serpents, Rakshasam and Rakshasa spirits, Abhideyam indestructible, Kama at will, Gam traveling, Vavre chose, Saha he, Yanam a vehicle, Vrishni for the Vrishnis, Vishanam terrifying. Translation by the disciples of His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Shalva chose a vehicle that could be destroyed by neither demigods, demons, humans, Gandharvas, Uragas, nor Rakshasas, that could travel anywhere he wished to go, and that would terrify the Vrishnis. And translation for text 7. Lord Shiva said, "So be it. On his order, Mayadanava, who conquers his enemies' cities, constructed a flying iron city named Shobha and presented it to Shalva." In both verses together. Shalva chose a vehicle that could be destroyed by neither demigods, demons, humans, Gandharvas, Uragas, nor Rakshasas, that could travel anywhere he wished to go, and that would terrify the Vrishnis. Lord Shiva said, "So be it." On his order, Mayadanava, who conquers his enemies' cities, constructed a flying iron city named Shobha and presented it to Shalva. So the narration that we're hearing now kind of sounds similar to the story of Hiranyakashipu. Shalva performed some austerity to get benediction from Lord Shiva, and Hiranyakashipu performed some austerity to get benediction from Lord Brahma. In that connection, it's noteworthy that after Hiranyakashipu was killed by Lord Nrsimhadev, and after Prahlad Maharaj offered prayers to pacify Lord Nrsimhadev, Lord Brahma approached Lord Nrsimhadev, and according to, this is narrated in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, 2nd chapter, Lord Brahma narrates to Narada Muni that as he approached Lord Nrsimhadev, Lord Nrsimhadev became angry and told him not to give benedictions to demons anymore. And after that, Lord Brahma goes on to tell Narada that actually Lord Shiva is more merciful than himself, because he continues to give benedictions, give blessings to demons. And he glorifies Lord Shiva in so many nice ways, elaborating how Shiva is the friend of these demonic type people, gives them benedictions so that eventually they can overcome their demonic propensities and eventually serve Krishna. And in that chapter, Lord Brahma says that Shiva is the greatest object of Lord Vishnu's mercy. So, having said that, the question might arise, why would someone who is the object of Lord Vishnu's mercy, who's very dear to Vishnu, to Krishna, give benediction to someone who's inimical to Krishna or inimical to Krishna's associates, like Shiva is doing to Shalva. During his pastimes, his manifest pastimes on this planet, one of the activities that Krishna enjoys is fighting. And another reason is that these pastimes go on so that Krishna can be glorified and his prowess can be understood, heard about, and relished by everyone. This was actually the conclusion of the 68th chapter of the 10th canto. Says that this was, I don't remember who, somebody was having it out with Baladev, and they said at the end of that chapter that actually all of the pastimes of that chapter were just to illustrate the prowess of Lord Baladev. So Shalva's been described in the previous verses as foolish, and his foolishness lies in his desire to defeat Krishna and his associates, which is an impossible task. There's no actual defeating Krishna in a combative way. Srila Prabhupada very famously says that impossible is a word in a fool's dictionary, but some things are truly impossible. Like this verse, this chapter implies it's impossible to defeat Krishna. Srila Prabhupada's given a few other instances where something is truly impossible. Srila Prabhupada says in the 7th canto that without fixing one's mind on the lotus feet of Krishna, it's impossible to control the mind. Similarly, Srila Prabhupada has said that it's impossible to enjoy in this material world without Krishna. And that is more or less what we find Shalva trying to do. He's trying to enjoy without Krishna. He's trying to predominate without Krishna. Actually, we can't predominate with Krishna either. And this is what we're all trying to do in this world. We're all trying to find enjoyment without Krishna. We're all trying to be the predominator, and it's not really working out very well for anybody. It's a fool's errand to enjoy without Krishna. Krishna is the reservoir of pleasure, and that means he is naturally the source of our enjoyment. And serving Krishna is our only way to attain real enjoyment. The distinction being that real enjoyment is not temporary, it's not subject to change, it's not subject to diminishing. In this world, there are things that we might find enjoyable, but those things are always temporary. They're always diminishing. They're never fulfilling. But the enjoyment we derive from serving Krishna never diminishes. It never goes away. It's always fresh and new. It's never the same old, same old. Without Krishna, it doesn't matter what planet we're on. It doesn't matter what position we're in, how much money we have, how many enjoyable things we have. None of that matters, because there's no real enjoyment, there's no real pleasure that lasts. We, at the end of the day, just become frustrated by our endeavors to enjoy because they're not truly fulfilling. So in this chapter, we see Shalva trying to predominate. He's unhappy about some previous goings on. He wants to get back at Krishna, back at Krishna's associates, thinking that they're the reason that he can't enjoy. And in the same way, we want to be the predominator, we want to be served, we want to be worshipped. We're trying very hard to enjoy. This is all truly in vain. Our position is that of the predominated. So we're coming here to this material manifest world, which is by Krishna's arrangement, by Krishna's mercy. We get to play the mini predominator a little bit. We say, look what I own, look what I've made. This person loves me, I love this person, I'm so talented, I'm so great, I'm so powerful. All these lies that we keep telling ourselves. We think that by manipulating something that's pre-existing, by manipulating the material world, we ourselves have created something, and we think we're capable of killing, destroying, all of these things. But one of the few speculations that the material scientists have got correct is that energy isn't created or destroyed, it's simply transformed. So we have a minute power to manipulate a small portion of the material creation, but we don't have the power to make something from nothing, something completely new. You don't have the power to destroy something. We just have the power to make some minor permutations to what is manifest in front of us. So, by his austerity performed to please Lord Shiva, Shalva has thought himself clever. He thinks he's made himself invincible with this thing that he's begged from Lord Shiva. Very similar to Hiranyakashipu putting so many stipulations that can't be destroyed, like this, like that, by this person, that person. So he really thinks he's situated himself nicely. But Shiva's mercy has been granted to him. And even though Shiva's mercy has been granted to him, what he's trying to do is still impossible. There's no enjoying without Krishna, there's no controlling the mind without Krishna, and there's no defeating Krishna. So, those of us that are in the material world, we're here because we want to be separate from Krishna insofar as we want to enjoy. But actually this is an impossible task. It's a fool's errand. But by Krishna's mercy, he allows us to be here in this world. And even more merciful of Krishna is to give us a way out of this world. And particularly in this age, he's giving us a very simple way out of this world. By the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, we now have the Sankirtan movement, and by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, it's been delivered to all of our doorsteps. The mission of Prabhupada, this ISKCON society, is solely focused on helping us remember Krishna. That's why we call it the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, not the International Society for Rules and Regulations, or the Society for Deity Worship, or the Society for Tasty Food Stuff. It's the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. This is quite an impossible task that Srila Prabhupada took up, especially considering his age, his lack of resources, lack of support. He didn't really have much going for him. But because his mind was always fixed on the lotus feet of Krishna, actually nothing was impossible for him. He single-handedly established this society, and he says in the 4th verse of Nectar of Instruction, in the purport to that verse, the verse is saying that there's 6 activities performed by devotees: giving in charity, accepting from devotees whatever they have to offer in return, opening one's mind to the devotees, inquiring from them about the confidential service of the Lord, offering prasad, and feeding devotees prasad. And Srila Prabhupada comments on this verse. He says, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness has been established to facilitate these 6 kinds of loving exchanges by devotees. This society was started single-handedly, but because people are coming forward and dealing with the give and take policy, the society is now expanding all over the world. He says that by engaging in these activities, that's how our society is spreading. He also says, in this way, our society is successfully spreading all over the world, and the intelligentsia of all countries is gradually appreciating our Krishna conscious activities. He then goes on to say that life in the Krishna conscious society is nourished by these 6 types of loving exchanges among the members. Therefore, people must be given the chance to associate with the devotees of ISKCON, because simply by reciprocating in the 6 ways mentioned above, an ordinary man can fully revive his dormant Krishna consciousness. And this is really the problem that we find ourselves in this material world, is our Krishna consciousness has gone dormant, and our enjoyment consciousness, our self-consciousness, has become very prevalent. But our problems stop in this world when we stop acting in that way, when we start trying to associate with Krishna, with Krishna's devotees, and start engaging in these exchanges. We find the solution to our problems. No more frustration. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it says, pure love of Krishna is eternally established in the hearts of living entities. It is not something to be gained from another source. When the heart is purified by hearing and chanting, the living entity naturally awakens. So this is our natural state. This is the way that we're supposed to be. But the contact with material energy has made us forget that. So Srila Prabhupada's come to remind us, and his disciples have come to explain what Srila Prabhupada is reminding us. So the natural response for somebody who's receiving this information, is receiving this mercy coming from Lord Chaitanya, coming from Srila Prabhupada, is to take that and share it freely with everyone that we meet, just like it's been shared freely with us. In a room conversation, Srila Prabhupada has said, so you just touch the topmost men, but if somehow or other, if you see some of the topmost men in China, you kindly read our books at your leisure. The following part of this conversation illustrates that for a devotee, nothing's actually impossible. So Tamal Krishna Goswami responds that you can't approach these men, Prabhupada, then give it up. If it's too difficult, don't waste time. Tamal Krishna, it's not only difficult, it's impossible. Prabhupada, then don't waste time. Tamal Krishna, completely impossible. Prabhupada, give up this idea. Tamal Krishna, it may be possible in 50 years from now, but not now. Prabhupada, that's all right. Our descendants will try for that, but let us try where it is favorable. Don't waste time. So here we are, we're descendants of Srila Prabhupada. And it's interesting to note that a lot of progress has, since this conversation, which was just shy of 50 years, it's 48 years ago. Lots of progress has been made in China. There's plenty of books that have been published in the Chinese language, and started out that they were published and distributed in a guerrilla type manner similar to the Soviet Union, but more and more the Chinese government is allowing our books to be printed in a legal manner, which means we can distribute them in a legal manner. The country of China has very strong censorship laws, and they restrict the publication of so many books in their country. But little by little, we're making headway. There's been a version of the Mahabharata that's been allowed to be published in China. If I remember correctly, I heard that there's some progress on having the Srimad Bhagavatam published in China. So these things are going on. It's not just China that we have lots of progress to make in. Everywhere that there are devotees, there's still progress to be made. Lord Chaitanya said every town and village, and that's coming more and more true every day, but it takes some effort. But these things are possible for devotees whose idea is to serve Krishna. Last year in the ashram that I was living in, a couple of the brahmacharis went to a convention of hotel owners and distributed a lot of cases of Bhagavad Gita to be put into hotel rooms, similar to how Bibles are put into hotel rooms. There's a whole program from ISV called the Hotel Gita program, and the idea is that if the Gita is sitting in a hotel room, there's a chance that somebody will find it and read it. It's just another avenue of book distribution, passive avenue. The story, though, is why we approach people who are in high positions. They have the authority, the potential to distribute many of Srila Prabhupada's books with some ease. So if you can, in this example, the owner of the hotel was contacted and the idea was presented to them. They agreed, and then, 10 cases of Gita are distributed on the spot, one for each hotel room. It's a very simple thing. This is the remedy to the condition that we find ourselves in. Much like Shalva, a lot of us are finding ourselves frustrated with our position. We're not enjoying the way we want to. We've become inimical and upset. We keep trying to enjoy and it's not working. And the remedy to that is to basically flip everything that we're trying to do on its head. We stop trying to serve ourselves. We start trying to serve Krishna. And we can do that by serving Srila Prabhupada. And that's where we actually can find enjoyment that isn't temporary, conditional. The enjoyment is truly transcendental. So this conversation that I've quoted earlier also chose as a segue to the next thing that I wanted to talk about just briefly now at the end of class, that today is the appearance day of Tamal Krishna Goswami. So, Tamal Krishna Goswami, a brief bio, served as a GBC from 1970 up until the time of his departure, and as a spiritual master from 1977 to the time of his departure. He was born in June of 1946 and joined ISKCON in 1968 in California, where he became initiated in the same year. He served to establish temples in India, France, Britain, and the United States. He was Srila Prabhupada's secretary and GBC for India initially, and he helped develop many major projects in India. 1972, he was awarded sannyas in Jaipur by Srila Prabhupada. And in 1974, he returned to the U.S. to work with Vishnujan Swami on the Radha Damodar Party, which revolutionized book distribution, became the #1 source of book distribution in the world. Tamal Krishna Goswami served as Srila Prabhupada's secretary in 1977 in the 7 months leading up to Srila Prabhupada's departure. In 1995, he enrolled in Southern Methodist University and 3 years later graduated with a BA in Religious Studies. Then he went to the University of Cambridge to pursue his PhD, where he wrote his dissertation on the theological teachings of Srila Prabhupada. He is a author of 9 different books: Jagannath Priyanatakam, the drama of Lord Jagannath, Prabhupada Antya Leela, the final pastimes of Srila Prabhupada. Both of those are traditional style dramas. He also wrote 2 books specifically for China, called Yoga for the New Millennium and Back Home, the story of Li Guangxi. The first is a summary of Bhagavad Gita in a novel form, and the second is a summary of the first canto, again in a novel form. His papers from Southern Methodist are available in a book called The Hare Krishna at SMU. His doctoral thesis, A Living Theology of Krishna Bhakti, was published posthumously. He also wrote TKG Diary about being Prabhupada's servant, and he wrote another book called Servant of the Servant. and he was also published in the Journal of Vaishnav Studies. As a side note, all of these books are available. In 2002, Tamal Krishna Goswami departed in Bengal, and though he's no longer physically present, lives forever through his instructions, books, academic works, and in the hearts of those whose lives he touched. Tamal Krishna Goswami also served as GBC for this temple for a brief period of time, as well as GBC for Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, China, Hong Kong, and Taiwan. So we can see the difference between somebody who's set on trying to serve themselves and somebody who's trying to serve Srila Prabhupada, trying to serve Krishna. And the difference is night and day. It's black and white. That someone who's focused on serving themselves is always frustrated. They're always angry and vengeful, trying to terrify those who they think are getting in their way of enjoyment. And somebody who's trying to serve Krishna is always very blissful, and they're always trying to engage others in serving Srila Prabhupada, serving Krishna, serving in some way, shape, or form. So, with that, we'll open up for comments and questions. If anyone has anything to say.
Thank you for your class, Prabhuji. I'm very interested in like contemporary ways of preaching, like using music and art and movies and stuff like that to basically as a supplement to book distribution. So one of the things I'm very interested in is like creating some type of movie or animation for the Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, because it seems like devotees and aspiring devotees, we get to actually get an inner vision of reality. And I'm wondering if you have any thoughts about that, how we can really like build with what's already been done. I mean, imagine Steven Spielberg doing a movie about, say, the Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, and using all these tools that we have, for that, and what type of effect it would have on the world. So I was wondering if you have any thoughts on.
Are you actively preaching to Steven Spielberg?
Yeah, trying to get him, trying to definitely.
There's a lot that's already been done. Not to say that in a discouraging way, but in an encouraging way. That there's no necessity to invent the wheel because it's already been invented. But what we can do is adapt it according to time, place, and circumstance. That's what Srila Prabhupada's done with ISKCON, is adapted for time, place, and circumstance, something that's transcendental and made it palatable and suitable for a modern presentation. So in the same way, like with film, there's so many Krishna conscious dramas that already exist that are, some are very long, some are very short, some are very in the middle, and they're just waiting for movie adaptations. There's so many songs that have been wrote by the Vaishnavacharyas that perfectly illustrate, perfectly describe what is devotional service. And actually, now there's so many of those that have been translated in a poetic way. Poetic in the English language. They're poetic in their natural Bengali or Sanskrit, but more natural flowing in the English language as well. So all of these things are there, waiting for somebody to take up the idea and run with it. Srila Prabhupada always really liked dramas. He'd get really, involved with them. And I know a lot of people that nowadays don't so much get into like a live action drama, but they're, big fans of movies. So if we're able to, produce something that's a little more shaped for a modern audience, people's attention spans are very low in this particular part of Kali Yuga. So if we're able to, illustrate in a way, because a lot of people just can't sit and read for half an hour, what to speak of an hour. Maharaj Parikshit sat and heard for a week on end, and most people can't sit in silence for 7 minutes. So if we're able to present things in a way that's palatable, that's, what criticism can there be of that? That's what we're supposed to be doing. Prabhupada so many times encourages that we should explain Krishna consciousness in our own words. We should explain the books in our own words. We should write our realization. We should share our realization. And each of us has a different realization. So if somebody's realization is in a artistic mode of expression, then they should be encouraged as far as possible, because you never know who's going to be reached in what way. And I know so many people that became devotees just because of the music scene in the 90s, and there's so many devotees who became devotees because of what Vishnu Jan Swami was doing with the Radha Damodar party, just traveling and chanting and having this, big elaborate production to chant Hare Krishna. So long as that was kind of the idea I was trying to get across in this class, was so long as we're doing what we do for Krishna, then we're doing something right. The result is kind of neither here nor there, but it's the intention. So if we set out with that intention that this music I make is to serve Krishna, and I want to serve Krishna by trying to attract people to him, then it's, it's all well and good. There's so many people, practically innumerable people, who are trying to serve themselves, making music and promoting themselves as, I'm so great, look how nice I can sing and dance and all of this. So I think we really need more people who are trying to make music for the satisfaction of Krishna, and with the aim at attracting people towards Krishna. The same thing with movies. There's so many actors who are just completely egocentric. Everything they do is to make them look good and get their name, at the top of the poster. But if we can produce Krishna conscious films that are entertaining, that are educational, and that are, performed in a humble type of manner, not for personal glory, and that's very good. Anything else? Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.